Hello. Oh, there's a little bit of echo there. Hello and welcome back, everybody, to this Collegiate Star League Dota 2 game between Wisconsin and Carnegie Mellon universities. This is Week 14 Dota. I am Zingle, and joining me today is Hachiko.
What's up, everybody?
So these teams, they're both, I'm pretty sure, locked into the playoff at this point. Wisconsin is guaranteed their second seed in their group stage for the spring semester, being 4-1 so far. While CMU, they're looking a little bit more shaky, sitting near the bottom of their group at 2-2, but they are nothing to kind of disregard at this point. Last year, they were one of the most dominant teams. They had a very good run. I'm pretty sure they made it deep into the playoffs. But this year, they're falling off a little bit, but maybe they'll pick things up for the end.
And before we get started, I'd just like to give a quick shout out to our sponsors. Big thank you to Band Gaming. Band is a social app and primary social app of the CSL with many features such as creating groups, which can be good for your CSL team or club if you need it, boards, calendar functions, polls, chats, and as of recent, call functionality. Band is a premier social experience for you and fellow gamers alike, and find more at band.us/home or find them in the Google Play Store or Apple App Store. It won't make you friends, but will help you keep them. You can create the groups, boards, calendars, polls, and chats that will keep you connected. And second sponsor being Twitch, of course. As always, nothing but the greatest of thank you for the largest streaming platform in gaming to support the collegiate esports. From PAX East and West and many more events, the CSL wouldn't be what it is today without the help and support of Twitch. Be on the lookout for cool opportunities to get involved with Twitch in the near future, and be sure to show them some love and support on their social media. And third but not least, we'd like to give a big thank you to ASUS and welcome it as the newest sponsor to the CSL family in the 2016 to 2017 season, provider of everything esports from all their wonderful products such as monitors, laptops, routers, graphic cards, motherboards, and more. Don't enter your next battle unless you're equipped with ASUS. And the draft has started.
All right. So this draft underway, we do see the Slardar Shadow Demon picks coming out of CMU. That's a very strong, I think, opening. However, it does most likely reveal their two support picks because Slardar we've seen in more in the 4 role than the 3 role. It's not guaranteed locked there, but that's kind of what I expect. And then UW Madison, they went for that Disruptor Abaddon. Similar idea here where Disruptor is guaranteed the support spot, and then Abaddon could be the 3 role or the 4 role. We see it in both pretty much equally at this point. So both teams kind of valuing to hide their cores until later on. And as reflected in the bans, we see 8 cores banned out.
This Abaddon being NA Dota, most likely going to go offlane here. That's a super annoying hero to deal with.
That's true. Started from Logan Bupt like a year ago, just spamming it and made it to 8K from 5K in very short time. He's kind of made it prevalent in the meta, then everyone's kind of picked up on it. So speaking of these off-lane heroes, there seems to be mostly, I guess not mostly, but in the first phase it was mostly off-lane bans. We see the Lone Druid banned out. That's sometimes off-lane, I guess now. It's more often in the safe lane, but Centaur and Underlord also top-tier bans. Definitely they kind of dictate the pace of games at this point because they have such dominant laning phases. They can always fall back to the jungle and, catch up. So if they get overcommitted upon, they can always catch up anyway. And then, just kind of the pace setters that are banned out. So I understand completely why they're doing that.
Right now, Kunkka is in the pool for CMU, so this is probably going to be a support Kunkka, as I don't think he's been played in the core role at all by any team. And that means it's going to be a offlane Slaughter, most likely.
Yep. Like I was saying at the start, you see it more often in the 4, but it's still fine in the 3. It will be a little bit harder to get that farm, but it's not necessarily that bad, and especially if they have this Shadow Demon Kunkka roaming combo, which is like one of the classics. This is like, a Shadow Demon disruption into a torrent setup, which has the stun and the slow. It's hard to get away from that.
Compared to Abaddon offlane, though, Slaughter is kind of underwhelming.
Yeah, I guess Abaddon also it's guaranteed in the offlane now with that Spirit Breaker picked up. And then a Juggernaut pick out of UW-Madison. I like this pick because it could be mid, it could be safe lane, and regardless of where it goes, it is pretty good against that Shadow Demon combo. Because if you get disrupted, you can just spam your spin, and it doesn't matter how good the stun is. You could even have like a Marana arrow literally over that disruption when you come out of it, and you can still spin in time to escape. So it's a pretty good pick that's just stops the aggression out of CMU's support combo. And another thing with Juggernaut, actually, it looks like UW-Madison might go for that early game 5-man group up and go push strategy with Juggernaut Healing Ward and the Abaddon Shield, the Photic Shield, and the Curse of Avernus. You can just go as 5 and win the game.
It's really annoying to play against. Just having to fight against the heals from the Abaddon as well as the Healing Ward, and they don't have a Healing Ward hitter right now.
Nah. They might be able to send an illusion from Shadow Demon, but that's their best bet right now, and you don't really want to be doing that.
Unless like Slaughter, until Slaughter gets a blink running, you blink in there like stun and then hit it.
Yeah. Well, we'll see how CMU wants to take this from there. They've already revealed their 3 heroes in the 3, 4, and 5 role, so they have a 1 and a 2 left to go. I'd imagine they're gonna assume Juggernaut safe lane. When you do a push strat like this, usually Juggernaut is the safe laner, Abaddon the off lane, then they go for a mid that's kind of a tempo setter like Ember, but Ember's banned out, or like OD maybe. We saw it in the game on Tuesday actually with that OD mid just kind of 10 minutes in getting a rampage or 15 minutes in getting a rampage because you have that ability.
Yeah, for the mid here, I would say it's like OD or something like a TA even.
Mm-hmm.
Some like hero that hits around like that 15-minute timing where they're gonna have like a lot of levels up on the Abaddon probably by that time as well. Either Vlad's or a Helm of the Dom, and they can just start grouping up and running at people.
Mm-hmm.
And they have the Spirit Breaker to initiate.
So this Ursa pick, I was gonna mention it very briefly as like a good hero against Abaddon in the laning phase at the very least, but like as the game goes on, it's not too bad either. But it's also really good because they could run it mid against the Juggernaut, so it is a guaranteed core that can beat either of the 2 cores that it matches up against UW-Madison. If it goes mid against the mid Jug, it can be okay. But if it goes safe lane against the off lane Abaddon, it can also be okay. And it is good against that early aggression from UW-Madison because that is also roughly when Ursa's peak is. So they're definitely drafting reactionarily to UW-Madison here, and I think it's working so far. But it really just comes down to this last pick to solidify how they push, because right now their draft is very good at fighting and it's very good at ganking, but it's not that good at pushing and stopping a push.
I need something like a Magnus here. I think would be good for them. Their team fight's kind of like one and done, so they either fully commit to that, which might be a bit troubling as they don't have the best way to stop Juggernaut from split pushing them. Best way is for Ursa to just jump in.
They have no way to cancel his spin TP at the moment too, so if they have a good like strategy out of UW-Madison with Abaddon and Juggernaut being the front liner, because if they're in the front line and they're the ones that are forced to be initiated upon by CMU, they can just out-survive and outscale.
Necrophos.
And here's a solution to that.
They have the answer to Juggernaut's split pushing now, and they also ban the OD.
Okay. So Necrophos, I was about to say CMU, if they like put their full initiation on that front like 1 or 2 heroes of Abaddon and Jug and they aren't able to win it, then they kind of just lose because they don't have sustain. But Necrophos gives them sustain, it gives them a way to kill Abaddon before the ultimate, it gives them a way to stop Juggernaut's spin TP, so the split pushing from that will be a little bit weaker. And it gives them that early game like 5-man sustain, so they can sustain a push.
Viper.
All right, so
they're committing to this strategy. Yep. It's kind of early game based. They can scale a bit with the Jug, but they definitely want to just be running at people with tanky heroes.
Mm-hmm. All right, so let's do some introductions here on the side of. Okay. So yeah, so the CMU last pick of Necrophos does kind of solidify their team here. They will want to be pushing around 10, 15, 20 minutes in, and they do scale kind of okay, but I'm afraid that they won't necessarily have the push to consolidate a victory off of an early game. Whereas the side of Wisconsin, they have a Juggernaut, they have an Abaddon, they have a Viper. Their early game is strong because the 3 cores are definitely like lane dominating, strong early heroes. But they also have that late game push. Juggernaut and Viper both. You don't really think of Viper as a late game scaling hero, but he is definitely like no joke, no pushover when it comes to late. And with the Abaddon Juggernaut, like their push is strong at all phases. So it's really the pressure I think is on CMU here to win and definitely like take over the game before maybe the 20-minute mark.
They're smoked up right now, looking for something.
Yep, so here we are. They are going to have their smoke pop. Viper is in a very good position here, so all of the smokes other than Ursa's will be popped. They might still try to go for this contest on the rune. With Shadow Demon gets the disruption, they get the torrent combo. They do get the rune on the Shadow Demon as well, so not only will they steal the rune, they will get first blood on the way of public player. That's their mid necro. And then it looks like they're going to be chasing for more, but it might be a mistake here as they are going a little bit deep under that shrine. It's going to be impossible to get another kill. The 3-man torrent will secure the escape, though. And Disruptor used all of his mana in that fight. So at the end of the day, it's just going to be a huge trade of supplies, and they will still get first blood and the rune on the side.
Slaughter is going to get level 2 because of this as well. The supports can't get here in time. Even if they do, the Disruptor ran out of mana. He's claritying up, but he will secure a full wave and experience.
All right. A quick rundown of the lanes and the players. We have Soul on the carry Ursa of CMU against Strelok on the offlane Abaddon of Wisconsin. Supporting the Ursa will be Blank on the Shadow Demon and the Kunkka played by Rox. In that middle lane, we have public player on Necrophos with the first blood, so off to a pretty nice start against a pretty tough laning against the little light of Wisconsin. And then in the top lane, we'll have the carry Juggernaut played by MW with supports of Mandingo on the Spirit Breaker and Chemcat on the Disruptor against the offlane Yumi from CMU. So these lanes...
Bot lane, we might see a kill here.
That is very true. The combo once again out onto this Abaddon. He is level 2 now, so he has that shield and the...
Oh, he did damage back. And he has a poor man's. He's gonna live.
Yeah, poor man's makes him super tanky against that. Also, he could have gone Miscoil right there just to like guarantee a deny. I've seen a lot of Abaddons do that at level 1 or level 2 because the self damage of 75 just outdoes the right click damage in the early phase, so it's almost impossible not to get it off if you're not stunned up.
And that's because Ursa didn't go Furious Swipes. What in the world? Didn't he like miss-skill?
I don't think he misskilled. I think he just misunderstood how the lane was going to go.
I mean, he had Earthshock and Overpower. I'm sure that's a miss-skill.
It might be. I'm going to give him benefit of the doubt and say he expected, just the slow and the burst attacks to be enough because he wasn't expecting to get like 5 Fury Swipe stacks or anything. But at the end of the day, Strelok does have to use his Shrine, and he's running pretty low on regen.
And in mid, the supports rotate straight there after they've failed to gank bottom. Find a kill onto Viper.
So this is a pretty big deal, actually, getting Necrophos these kills. Having him be, I guess, 1 assist now, but 1 kill and 1 assist in this mid lane against a Viper, who definitely has a better laning matchup here. It's kind of what they need to just recover this laning phase. Because they can't really gank top, like I was saying in the draft. If they do the Shadow Demon Torrent combos, Juggernaut will just spin it off. So unless Juggernaut gets over-aggressive with his spins, he shouldn't be dying at any point in the laning phase.
They're going again.
Yeah. There will be a little bit of a bait by Necrophos. He does manage to force a charge out of here, and then Little Light is getting caught out. Not at the fastest hero with only boots.
Oh, he missed the Shadow Catcher, or Soul Catcher.
Yep. But it should still be enough at the end of the day. No, the Fairy Fire will get him away with 10 health here. And now Blank is tanking the tower, takes a few hits. He will end up going down here, but it will be a return kill for Rox against the Spirit Breaker.
That was interesting. He X-marked his teammate there.
Yeah, it's probably a little bit of a misclick. There are a bunch of creeps, a bunch of heroes in that little cluster.
The Viper will survive and Shrine back up.
Shrine right back to full, get back in the lane. He is being out-leveled at this point. He is barely level 4. Meanwhile, Necrophos is over a full level ahead of him at 5. So definitely, a little bit in favor of the Necro, but you still can't really lane that 1v1. And with Spirit Breaker
Abaddon is
charging once
actually
again.
owning bottom so hard.
Viper gets low, but the 17% will save him. And meanwhile, Abaddon, yeah, that's the problem with an Abaddon being given his levels. A poor man shield and boots with 2 points in your passive and shield, you can just run at the enemy, and they can't really do much about it, even with Fury Swipes.
Was a big deal because since the supports are roaming, that meant that they like pushed the lane under him, and then he got a bunch of levels and was able to just try and back up and get some farm as well under his tower. And now he's giving Ursa a pretty rough time as Ursa's completely out of regen now. They might be able to kill him with the charge coming in, but he'll be spotted by the Radiant Ward.
Ursa does do well against Abaddon, but typically you need at least one support to help, you know, just secure that early levels. Once Abaddon gets level 5 like he did just now, and especially once he gets level 6, this Ursa is going to be in for a rough time.
You need the level advantage, Ursa versus Abaddon, otherwise you can just get run over.
The 2-man torrent will be a response from the Kunkka in the bottom lane. Ursa will be getting away with 100 health here. Now the X mark will keep Spirit Breaker under the tower, takes a few tower hits. He has 20 health, and he has charge up in a second, but the last hit will come off. And now Abaddon is chasing with another shield. That's a guaranteed kill onto the Ursa because the move speed differential. But with Yuumi rotating bottom and a stun being set up by that disruption, that will be a return kill at the very least. So it will be a 1-for-1 or 1-for-2 at the end of the day. Spirit Breaker also went down, correct? Yes.
Yep.
And now Spirit Breaker is going right back to the mid lane. However, he's charging a level 6 Necrophos with an Arcane Rune. So this is going to be a tough kill and might actually be a turnaround kill here if a public player plays this correctly.
Is this the correct player? Is he going to turn around and kill Viper?
The passive from Viper... Oh, but he actually doesn't even have the passive. Interesting. Well, the Reaper Slice didn't manage to kill Necro. He died immediately after, so he doesn't have that extra little cooldown penalty from the respawn. It is only 10 seconds, but it's an early game that's kind of annoying. And so far, this is looking pretty dominant for CMU. I figured this mid lane would not be going this well, but considering that it is now 2-0-2 on that mid player, it's pretty strong.
Yeah, Abaddon just solo kills Ursa bottom. Yeah, it was pretty insane. Ursa thought he can get the kill. He got a lot of Fury Swipes up, and then he popped himself to his shield.
Level 6 Abaddon ult. It's a strong lane, or strong like lane dominating timing. Top lane, once again, just a spin down. I think it was an ult spin from the Juggernaut.
Slash too.
So some good return kills for the side of Wisconsin. They get the kill top and bottom in the solo lanes. However, this lane mid, Viper from behind is very underwhelming. So they definitely want to try to fix this. And they had the 2 supports rotate mid, but they still just couldn't bring down this Necro. And they actually lost their mid while they're trying. So there's some hope with these other lanes going well, but Necrophos is one of those heroes that can just dominate.
Kind of a big problem, and I think it's a bit bigger problem for CMU at this point, having this Ursa so far behind. And Viper is not the best comeback hero, but sure, he can pretty much catch up. He needs to put some points in corrosive skins, that's what he needs to do, but...
Yeah. I was gonna say, this build, I'm gonna question it a little bit, because you're against so much magic damage and so much just chase in that early game, having the corrosive skin to stop that, you know, burst potential.
Try for another kill onto Abaddon bottom, but gets his ultimate off. A nice play there from Shadow Demon, imprisoning him while his ult was online, and they'll get the kill.
Yeah, barely got that last hit in. I'm pretty sure the TP was less than like 0.2 seconds to go, but the Fury Swipe damage just added up too high.
Yeah, there's the comeback for Ursa.
Yeah, and Ursa with the Morbid Mask, you can always go sneak a Roche, just stay as 5, and just be that nuisance that Ursa can be in the early game, and come back by fighting and getting the objectives. You don't really need to farm on this hero to come back. Whereas on Viper, if you're behind and you're trying to fight, you don't really have that insane output that Ursa has.
This Decrelite is so strong right now. He's about to hit level 8. And full Veil on the way soon.
Yeah, I figured this will be the timing for the side of CMU. They'll have the Veil on Necro, which is, you know, greatly increase the damage output from him and the Kunkka. But they'll also have the Blink Dagger by Ursa pretty soon. They'll probably go for an Aegis pretty soon and just look to grow his 5.
Like, top lane got Omni Slash once again.
Yep. Every time that's off cooldown, you're going to be looking for a kill as Jug.
Slaughter is actually really far behind.
Compare him to the Abaddon. He's still only level 5 on Slaughter, and Abaddon is level 7 now. Abaddon does go down to the Reprecise, so he's going to be dead for a while. And it might be another kill here onto the Spirit Breaker, who's only level 5, but there is no X-Spark available, so he'll just kind of waddle off. But yeah, this Slardar definitely is not having the ideal game here. He goes mid to try to like, do something against Viper and get some XP, but he just gets ulted immediately and has to back off.
I think they can afford to secure the blink on him. Probably give him the safe lane or something.
After
this
Ursa goes
on, and then Ursa can just start roaming once they get the boat on the Kunkka as well.
Yep, they really need to do something about this Juggernaut. If you look at the net worth, he is over 1,000 ahead of any other player in the game. He has a few solo kills now. I guess not both of them are solo, but he has 2 kills now against the Slardar and almost complete free farm in this lane.
Pressure is definitely on for CMU right now. The Ursa is not in a position to fight against this Juggernaut, and he might go down here again. 17% bash. But looks like
he still has his ultimate. He was trying to bait a reinitiation from the Wisconsin team, knowing that he could just hold his ult till the very last second and turn around and get a kill, but looks like Wisconsin wised up to it, realized that Ursa still hadn't ulted and they're not going to be able to burst him down. So,
Disruptor is still level 5.
If we want to compare these mid heroes, the net worth is very similar, but the actual items out for the heroes are very different, and like very different in terms of power, despite having similar net worth. The Necrophos has a bottle with a haste rune and a Veil of Discord, which, you know, a completed item is worth a bunch more than any of these small pieces that Viper has. He has what it seems to be like half of an Aquila, or like a quarter of the Helm of the Dominator, I imagine he goes, especially with this early game push. A wand, like all these small items are good, but the power spike of the full veil could be quite significant if they're looking to group up on CMU.
I'm surprised Viper's actually beating Necro and CS this badly.
Meanwhile, in this bottom lane, there will be a dive under the tower. The Spirit Breaker has 5 health, and he's going to beat Dove here, but the miss on the smash from Ursa. Sorry, these words are tough. Now it looks like Ursa might be a little bit too deep. And Ursa will go down. So at the end of the day, a few missed spells and a few dives too far, Ursa will go down instead of the Spirit Breaker. And top lane, Slardar will once again go down to the Omni Slash. It's like clockwork. Every 130 seconds when that ult is off CD, if somebody's in the lane, he's going to go for it. And once again, top lane and bottom lane going in favor of Wisconsin.
You're gonna try for a kill onto Viper here with the level 6 on the Shadow Demon, and they should get him. That's so much damage with the Veil and the Soul Catcher too.
Very good return kill. Once again, this mid lane just going perfectly for CMU. They're gonna chase the Spirit Breaker right into the tower, right in the Shrine though, and they will get an Invis Disruptor snuck up on them. And the haste just ran out, so he's gonna get glimpsed back, and he's gonna be stuck very deep without any sort of help. But the TP should be enough.
Meanwhile, on the top lane, Ursa and the Slaughter found a kill onto the Juggernaut. That was a pretty big kill for him there.
Yeah, like we were saying, this Ursa in the bottom lane wasn't going so hot, and then Jug was just free farming, so he needs to rotate and make space in these other lanes. So, I don't know, it's pretty even. At the end of the day, it's 1,500 net worth in favor of Wisconsin and 1,500 XP in favor of Wisconsin because this top lane has gone so well, but without this advantage on Juggernaut, it's next to even or even in favor of CMU. So if they just focus on this Jug, focus on this top area, and kind of hinder his farm before it gets too big, they'll be fine.
I'm going for double Helm of the Dom here. Surprise.
Yeah, it's fine. It's not ideal because the auras don't stack that 8 health regen, or is it 9? I think it's 8 health regen doesn't stack. But it's still, you know, it gives you some stats, and it gives you the most important part, which is the creep. You know, having an Alpha Wolf, having that Ice Armor Ogre, having any of those just early game creeps are just huge. There will be a glimpse mid onto public player. He will be taken under tower. He will be ulted by the Viper and bashed by Spirit Breaker, but he is right back up to full health. The Disruptor ult,
5-man Static Storm.
the Disruptor ult goes onto everybody, but he barely just gets away, and there's gonna be a Necrophos ult at the very last second onto the Spirit Breaker. Will secure the kill, keep him down for quite a while, and now Public Player is gonna go back in once again, get Abaddon right after his ult comes or turns off. All the while, Jug just kind of takes top tower. That creep definitely helps him push out the wave a little bit quicker, and then he's level 12, so he's not really afraid.
Alright, suddenly Slaughter is a bit closer to his blink now.
Yeah, how far away is he now? He is 500 away, so that's going to be a pretty nice timing considering how poorly that top lane went. And then if they manage to just continue fighting like this, have this early game just completely in their favor, they could snowball a victory here. They are wrapping around the Viper. They see the TP there from that pink player, so that's going to pop the entirety of the smoke. But Viper can't get away now.
He also shielded himself now. He can't shield Viper.
And that will be one kill so far. They might look for more. Spirit Breaker is charging right through, gets a bash onto 3 as they run away, but they don't have the damage output right now. Jug is not nearby.
Still to turn this around.
Yep, and there's an X-Mark Torrent once again comboed up onto the Spirit Breaker. He will use an ult to try to make some space, try to bash up and run away here, but it is unlikely that he gets away. Juggernaut finally comes into the back line. Blink is very low. He's going to try to TP away and force Juggernaut to kind of change focus. So Spirit Breaker will end up getting away at the end of the day, and now Soul very deep on this Ursa. He's the last hero left to get away. Spirit Breaker will charge back in, get that bash off, and now Ursa's going to be glimpsed right back into the middle of everybody. He's going to try to fight, but there's no escape here.
Alright, this Viper is having the roughest time in this game. There's so much hate onto him. They just smoke, find him in the mid lane, he dies again, but he'll finally have his helm of the Dom.
Alright, so a good return for Wisconsin there. They get a little bit of a swing when I think they only lost 1 hero there, and then CMU chased a little deep and lost 2. So, not bad at the end of the day. Considering this was...
There's so many kills, but like none of these kills even matter that much at this point. It's like the game is still completely even. It's whoever takes the better fight at this point will win.
Mm-hmm. But with Slardar having his Blink Dagger now, they're looking to be very aggressive once again. Disruptor gets purged by Shadow Demon, gets ulted up by the Necrophos, a secured kill, and he's going to be down for 50 seconds. So they could look just to get a free Roshan here, having Slardar and Ursa, or they could look to try to get some deep wards afterwards and get another tier 1 or tier 2 tower at this point. It looks like they are going to be going for that tier 1 top. Meanwhile, Juggernaut just going right back bottom, recognizing that he can get a free tower here uncontested. And now look at
Jug.
He's getting big.
So farmed.
Like he's 3-1 and 2. He has almost a full Manta up in less than 1,000 gold, I believe. And he's getting towers. He got 2 towers by himself. He's gotten a few solo kills. He TP'd at the end of that, or he made it there at the end of that last fight to clean up some kills. But CMU, they're getting a free tower top. It's not going to be bothered. Wisconsin realizes they already got the tower bottom. They're getting farm elsewhere. They're making space, so they can let a tower die.
Ursa is going to finally have his blink soon.
They really need to go for this Roshan, and they need to sneak it. However, the heads-up play from the side of Wisconsin, just leaving a creep standing inside the pit, they will never be able to sneak it while that creep is alive. And since the creep doesn't really expire, they could leave it there for the next 10 minutes and it'll still be worth it. Because yes, you're not gaining the value out of that creep, but not allowing the Ursa Slardar lineup to get a Roshan and kind of force this early game advantage is huge, considering they have the arguably better scaling mid and late game. So I like this play. Other people might say that it's kind of a waste of that time for the creep to be sitting there, but I think they just understand the flow of the game right now.
I mean, he's just farmer right now. The only thing that he could use that creep to do is like farm the side lane. Increases his farm efficiency a bit, but it's definitely better to make sure that they don't get Rosh. So
this game started out extremely bloody as predicted, but it's kind of hit a lull at this point. Both teams have tried to do something in the past few minutes with these like mid engagements, but it's been a big waste of time and only 1 or 2 kills at the end of the day for both of them. So they're content farming, trying to wait for this next timing of, I guess, Ursa's Basher, which is still pretty far away. But the blink initiation from CMU on 2 heroes is pretty strong.
Yeah, I believe CMU are on their last smoke, and they don't want to just waste it.
Right.
They realize that if they smoke this point, they might get a kill, or they might not even, because they like run into Abaddon. He's not gonna die. Jug is kind of hard to catch as well.
Well, here's that smoke from CMU. They do get a ward placed out here. They will be running uphill. They see the Jug, but they will get the blink stun onto 2. A very good stun here. They don't manage to burst him down before the Necrophos ult hits, but they do kill him nonetheless. Now it looks like Blank will be the target of the 2 players from the side of Wisconsin. Meanwhile, Yuumi is going to be chased down by this Viper. He will get glimpsed back in and stunned up, though. Yuumi most likely going to go down here, but Ursa uses his ult, goes for this Viper on the side, almost kills him.
Getting owned by Corrosive Skin.
He's getting owned, but he's still not getting killed. Like, he's just dealing so much damage. He gets 2 kills here. Now, public player being beyond, godlike, not beyond godlike, but after this, he might be beyond godlike. But all these heroes need to just escape. Necro goes in. The raindrop will save Viper there. Between his passive and the raindrop, he took almost no damage from the death pulse, which is pretty funny, but...
Oh, that looks so dumb. Ursa is hitting Viper, and he's, as soon as his overpower ran out, he just lost all his move speed and his attack speed as well. And
Yeah.
Viper just runs away.
That's the power of the passive. It makes it so you can't get bursted, and it makes it so you can't get chased. And it was, what, a 2 for 2 after all of that? After that, like, full 30-second, 40-second engagement?
They lost Ursa and Slaughdar.
Yep, so they did lose the 2 more important heroes.
2 for 3, because the Shadow Demon died as well in the beginning.
So I'd give that in favor of Wisconsin, even though the gold or net worth might not say it. I think it's more of just the game flow sense it's in their favor. Unfortunately, public player now is 10-0. He is big. He has a blink mech veil, and he's sitting on some extra gold on top, so he is now a menace of this game. He can't necessarily push, he can't necessarily take Roche, but he can fight better than anyone else.
Yes, Ursa is having a really rough game, and he needs to have a better game than this to come back, or at least try to not come back, but end the game. So I believe they are ahead right now.
And
no,
now Yuumi...
CMU is actually 2,000 gold behind.
They do go for the Roche here. They kill the Hellbear that was sitting in there, so Wisconsin most likely knows what's going on, but they can't contest having Spiritbreaker already be dead, and considering how big this Necrophos is. And Necrophos actually takes the Aegis. I'm surprised they didn't give it to Ursa, considering Ursa's blinking into the front line, and that Necrophos shouldn't be dying anyway, considering how tanky and bulky he is. But maybe they just don't want to risk that godlike streak, don't want to give 1,000-something gold to whoever kills them. And I guess Wisconsin, they know Roche is going on, but they just pressure another lane. They get the tier 2 bottom, and now they're posturing up to defend this tier 2 middle lane. They actually have Shadow Demon TP back and try to defend this bottom lane, so if they take a fight now with Wisconsin, it will be a 5v4, and it could be a little bit in their favor despite being against an Aegis.
They're coming back. They're coming in.
The Haste Rune will be activated on Necrophos, and he'll try to get away here, but he doesn't really seem to care. He's going to turn back in. They're going to want to go for this Kunkka first, knowing now that there is no support. Now Slaughdar is also dead, so it's a 3v2. No, 5v2. This is a very unfortunate spot to be in. Necrophos will be ulted up here. He still has Aegis, so he is pretty tanky here.
Ursa is dead.
This is an unfortunate spot for CMU. They will lose this godlike streak on Necrophos unless some sort of miracle happens, but that's not the case. It's going to be 750 gold going the way of this Abaddon, and now they're going to just push a tower. This insane push speed coming out of the Viper Jug and Abaddon. This tier 1 goes down, go right for the tier 2, and it's going to go down in a matter of seconds. Look at that.
The MVP of that fight was Mandingo. He got a charge through 3 people. He stunned 3 people with charge. And
he's done that almost every fight. This guy's charges are really good.
Yeah, but the Slaughter blinked in, stunned, but his team couldn't follow up because they were all stunned by Spiritbreaker.
So it looks like there will be an attempted defense here out of the side of CMU. A nice torrent and boat onto 5. They will secure a kill onto the Spear Breaker, but with that, I think they'll manage to get away with everybody else. Chemcat was pinged out, so they do see him. He is TPing away in the tree line. This blink stun from Slardar just barely misses. And it will just be one hero going down. But they get 2 heroes mid, and I think 4 heroes killed in that last fight. So huge advantage for the side of Wisconsin in that last, 2-minute fight.
Oh, and Kanka isn't building to scale at all.
Nah, he's going to the support build.
And not going for like that armlet build. So CMU actually have in big trouble right now.
Yeah.
It's...
That 20-minute early game momentum timing that we were describing earlier, it seems like they're falling off a little bit. And now if you look at the net worth, the top 3 are all in favor of the side of Wisconsin. And like we were saying, they're pushing and they're just scaling are a little bit better. So CMU is going to group up one last hurrah, try to win this game before they, just lose by default, so to speak. And now Juggernaut having the Manta and Diffusal Blade, like this is not only really good because it has the Mantas carrying that like little mana burn, not orb anymore, but just the mana burn effect, but it's really good against the Necrophos. So if you start ulting and Necrophos uses the Ghost Shroud, which is E-Blade, whatever, active, you can just purge it off and get that kill on the very tough to kill player.
Yeah, the Necrolite is a lot less scary because of that now. And they're still split pushing. They don't want to fight into all 5 of CMU quite yet, but maybe this tier 2. They can come in from behind on the shrine even. And there's no ward for CMU set up to spot it either.
Viper seems to be content just pushing a tier 3. He has the tower almost half dead, having that Alpha Wolf sitting behind him. And they're perfectly fine losing a tier 2 here in trade. Looks like there will be a rotation from the side of CMU. They do get the blink from Necro and Slardar to get right up to that Viper, who doesn't seem like he's going to be getting away here. And the Necrophos ult will come out and kill him for 73 seconds.
And Shadow Demon did get caught out bottom.
Yep. That's fine though. If they lose a Shadow Demon and they get the tier 2 and a Viper kill without actually losing that tier 3, they're okay at the end of the day. It's not ideal that they took so much tier 3 damage and it lost a player, but it's not the end of the world.
Alright, I think Kunkka realizes he needs to scale this game. He has a data list queued up.
That's an interesting item build. It definitely will help them push out waves. It will help them fight come to the late game, but it's not necessarily an ideal itemization for him.
I think if Kunkka does start carrying, they definitely still have a chance here, but this Jug is a huge problem. They have no way to deal with him. They really need to use the Necrolite ult just to take care of him. And if he doesn't die during it, it's a big issue. He'll just heal up with Healing Ward. Abaddon will heal him up as well, and they'll just get run over.
Alright, well, the Spirit Breaker looked to try to get a kill there, but it cancels it right before it connects. I think they figured there was a ward there because the Kunkka started backing up early, but it does not seem to be the case. CMU is now kind of wrangled into their base. They don't really know where else to farm, where else to be, and all the while they're just getting out-farmed. Net worth is over 5,000 in favor and almost 7,500 XP in favor of Wisconsin now.
We saw a bit of the net worth going back up in their favor. That's just because they took some towers, but as it goes on, they're just going to get out farmed just because of the map control that they've lost.
Absolutely.
They've lost all their outer towers, as well as if you look at the ward on the map, it is getting dewarded now, but Wisconsin did get a lot of deep wards as well into their jungle.
Alright, well now that it's hit kind of a lull, neither team is looking to, force a fight right now. Let's look at these items. Abaddon actually went for a carry build, having a Mjolnir right after his Vlads. He will be stunned up and tried to be bursted down here, but he has his ultimate. He seems to be okay here, but he doesn't necessarily have any escape. And now with the double blink in here and the Necro ult, he will be going down for 72 seconds. But yeah, like I was saying, he's going also just for late game carry build to just match the flow of the game. They realize they don't need to end it anytime soon, so if they have another late game strong core, it's perfectly fine by them. This Juggernaut went for a Blink, it'll help him fight in the near future, and this Viper also went for a Mjolnir, so both of these heroes, the Abaddon and the Viper, going for a Mjolnir. Helps them farm, helps them keep ahead of the opposing cores, and it helps them fight. So
Yeah, they just want to push waves right now. Ripper gets caught out here, but he forces himself away.
yeah, it looks like he might get away here. They're trying to dive deep on the side of CMU, but this might not be the best idea at the end of the day. Juggernaut ult comes out. It does bounce mostly onto the Ursa and Necrophos, so they're not really minding all that damage. The Slardar will go back and get another stun onto the Viper, but it will just be a very in and out sort of fight from both teams.
Jug
They
will
do
die
manage
here,
to
no
kill.
buyback.
Yeah. And now if they get Spearbreaker as well, that's two heroes dead. Spearbreaker has the buyback. Abaddon will be spawning in a second, and now Ursa going a little bit deep and dying to the right clicks of
Viper
Viper.
can just kill everyone here. He has Mjolnir, he has a Dragon Lance as well. He can just dish out the damage.
And now two dead from the side of CMU. They need to escape quickly. This Spearbreaker and Abaddon TPing into the shrine to just kind of block off that escape. They won't manage to get anyone else, it seems. But having three heroes die after having your Abaddon dead and your Jug without buyback is a huge turn of events for them. And now double damage rune onto the Abaddon. Roshan won't be up for another minute. They'll scout it out and be a little bit disappointed, but they're going to probably try to just push in lanes and get some control of the map again before that happens. Because what they want is to get this next Aegis and just push as 5 around 30, 35, 40 minutes and just be stronger. Because at this point, they are stronger as 5.
Disruptor is so poor. So Shadow Demon. It's the sacrificial. Oh no, Disruptor has a Force Staff. Just came into him. Alright, that definitely helps him out against Ursa. The more Force Staffs that comes online is gonna make the fight so much harder for CMU. They already have 2, and a third one's coming on this Viper.
Yeah, Force Staff is very good on a lot of these players, not only against the other team, but just on Viper, going that Dragon Lance into the Hurricane Pike, very strong. Having it on the Disruptor to keep him safe, having it on Spearbreaker to kind of just cancel the initiations and ruin the initiations of the other team.
CMU gonna smoke Rosh here, and they're gonna be able to sneak this one.
Yeah, a little bit lucky timing out of them. The Spearbreaker charge will go... Oh no, it won't go through the pit, so he won't be scouting out this attempt. It looks like they won't let him just get away for nothing. They will try to kill him really quick, but I guess Ursa still manages to get the Aegis, so that could have been pretty problematic, revealing their position like that if Wisconsin was in the position to, you know, turn around on that fight. Could have been bad, but it's fine at the end of the day. Nobody dies and they get Roche. And once again, it goes on to the Necrophos, not the Ursa.
Viper has this Dragon Lance out, or Hurricane Pike out now. He's caught up fairly well considering the bad laning stage he's had.
Yeah, this hero doesn't necessarily farm well by any means, but with the Mjolnir to kind of fix that problem, and just the fact that these last few fights have gone very nicely for their team, he's been keeping up. He's second place in net worth, just barely behind a Juggernaut, who should be farming much faster, but he's sharing it nicely with his other 2 cores. He's not playing that greedy one. He's playing a very selfless team player one.
What do CMU actually do with this Aegis though? They can't go high ground with it, I'm pretty sure. They need to find a pickoff somehow.
Yeah.
Spiritbreaker is the one who doesn't have buyback. I believe that's why they went on him. Especially if they got the Reaper Scythe on him, he would have been dead for a long time. They potentially could have made something happen with him gone and having Aegis.
Yeah, this is kind of just desperation now for CMU. They realize they can't fight very well. They realize they can't scale very well, so they're just looking to try to find a misplay from the other team rather than force
They're not that far
fight.
behind. They do scale if their heroes get farm, of course. The problem is somehow getting farm. I think because Wisconsin is just splitting the map right now, if they can just set up in good spots to get pickoffs, and it only really needs 2 heroes. I think Ursa and Abaddon, or not Abaddon, Ursa and Slaughter can kill someone just with the 2 of them.
Who is
Maybe,
it?
maybe not.
Ursa and who?
Ursa and Slaughter. They can kill anyone except for Abaddon.
Yeah, they probably could, especially with this basher up, just a few lucky bashes to keep somebody down. If Ursa like preps his Fury Swipe or his Overpower, having the extra stacks of Fury Swipes, having the 12 attacks instead of 6 could be enough. They actually see Juggernaut here. He's going high ground against the
Hey, he's
Observer
gonna
and
do a lot of
Sentry.
damage to himself with these, or he's dead.
Just blown up there. The Amplify from Shadow Demon, the Purge from Shadow Demon makes it so he can't just get away, and then Reaper Scythe to secure it. Now he's dead for 110 or 100 seconds, so it's over a minute and a half. He does have buyback.
Dataless, look.
Does he really? Ooh. I like that. If you get lucky, you could just one-shot the Abaddon before you proc your ultimate if he's sitting pretty low. And yeah, it looks like he'll be okay. I think he's just sitting around. He wants to stop Abaddon from TPing back. He can just X-mark the Abaddon and then just run away and laugh. And
this Punka scales.
Yeah.
This is gonna be very hard.
Yumi's going a little bit deep here.
Wisconsin, actually.
Yeah. They're trying to push high ground with that Aegis. Knowing Jug is dead, they're trying to force a buyback or just hope that he doesn't have it. Ursa will be getting clicked down here, uses his ultimate to stay alive, but now he's getting glimpsed back. He will use the BKB, but all the while, Slardar does get bursted down on the side. Viper gets boated up. They do have the Rum effect on them, so this fight might still be okay, especially since Abaddon ult is already used. If they get that stun up, they could manage to kill him, but disrupted there with the Static Storm.
So bad, but it was off or on cooldown still. Now he's gonna get it.
Do get the Viper, who's also now dead for 110 seconds. Does also have buyback, so it's not the end of the world, but ideally you don't want to use it here. Juggernaut saving his buyback this whole time. He still doesn't want to use it.
He's gonna lose Rax if he doesn't.
Yeah. They will use it on Viper, who is dead for a much longer time, and they're going to try to hold out for this Juggernaut.
It's probably enough for them to defend here. I don't... Actually, oh my god, the Daedalus crit!
The Daedalus crit, the carry support Kunkka. Now it's going to be 5 dead on the side of Wisconsin. They do use buyback on 2, and Juggernaut's finally back up, so they will get the return kill onto the Aegis, and now he's going to have no escape.
Blink out, my boy. I know.
He's going to just try to TP out. Do they not have a cancel for him? He'll just TP out! Wow, okay. Well, that's the benefit of having Disruptor and Spirit Breaker dead, I guess. They don't have any bash, they don't have any cancel or stuns.
Hey, look! He's going for a second Daedalus and he has the Chrysalis already.
I love this Kunkka. I was doubted. I wasn't a believer, but... This is, like... With a double Daedalus Kunkka, he could just, like... Yeah, I want to see him just go Rapier next, actually.
He got the Kindred.
I want to see him get a double Daedalus and then a Rapier and just one-shot the other team.
That actually can happen. These heroes are definitely one-shottable.
Yeah.
Even Jug at this point is pretty low HP. He didn't build any stats.
So all the while I was saying they do get outscaled because Ursa and Necrophos, but having this 4-position Kunkka playing it like a core at this point.
Like Jug,
I think I might be wrong.
Building BKB and
Jug is building BKB. Ooh.
Yeah,
it'll give him a little bit of health, and it'll give him a little bit of survive.
Here, but does that mean like he's not dying to magical damage at this point? I don't think.
Yeah, I'm not convinced.
He's getting ultimated and amplified by the Shadow Demon, and he's getting taken up by physical during the duration of the ult. They're gonna get scanned out now.
Having the Slardar amp as well as the Shadow Demon amp, these right clicks are so strong. Smoke into smoke.
Slaughter is afraid. And that was like a 5-man crush if he just went. Like a
yeah, but they didn't have any vision of it though.
No, they scanned them out. They knew they were there. Oh, they didn't have vision, but they knew they were there. So if you just BKB'd crushed, that would have been dope. That would have been like a 5-man crush into a 5-man boat or something, and just end the game there. But
it's a possibility, but there's no guarantee on it. And you don't really want to risk that.
Yeah, they could have ended the game there actually.
But now CMU, they have used buybacks on the side of Wisconsin, so CMU has a glimmer of hope here in the next few minutes. If they manage to get a good fight or a good push, or maybe just wait out this next Aegis, they could come back and win this game. You know, I say they could come back, but at this point, they're
actually
actually already in favor of net worth.
It took 1 Rex.
Yeah, they are in favor of net worth and.
Alright, Wisconsin going for another smoke here. This actually could backfire very badly if they don't catch the right target.
The surprise double smoke, though. One pops and you instantly go for another. They don't really expect it on the side of CMU. They're playing very aggressively and they're being wrapped around by 5. Looks like Kunkka and Necrophos will be the first targets caught out.
Right away, this would be pretty cool.
He does manage to get saved by the Shadow Demon.
Blinked out too.
Jug in the backline is using his ultimate, but he'll just be turned around upon. It will be a Disruptor going down first. Ursa is chasing up for that Juggernaut in the back, but he does not manage to have any sort of catch. Looks like Ursa will go down to the right clicks out of the, I guess, all 3 of the right clicking cores from the side of the Wisconsin team. And now Ursa being dead, Kunkka has to get out, and now public player is also going to go down. The double stun from the side of Spearbreaker and the double stun from Slardar, but it won't be quite enough, and Slardar will also go down. So that's a 4 for 0 at the end of the day. Huge win for Wisconsin there. And once again, back in favor of Wisconsin. CMU had net worth advantage for just about a minute there, and then it goes right back away. That was a really sloppy fight.
Maybe get to base. Yeah, the Kunkka got caught out. He didn't blink out in time. He did get his boat off, but then they didn't sync their spells after that. Yeah, because of the static storm coming out.
They were just split up so much as well. They had a few heroes behind the tower expecting the defense to come in a straight line rather than from a flank.
They see the Kunkka crits. I don't know.
Nothing. Just tickles.
Try again.
The buyback from Shadow Demon will
go on to creeps.
I'll just scare him away. They're not looking to force a high ground and end game push right now. They're content just waiting for Roche or waiting for their next tier of items.
Well, it's pretty good. They only had to use the Shadow Demon buyback, and they didn't get the tier 3 either, so they can't get shrines.
And it looks like Roche will be spawning. It's a pretty quick spawn, and it will be scouted out by that Alpha Wolf on the side of Wisconsin. So they might be looking to go for that before CMU. CMU did get the last 2 Aegises, and they did manage to get something off of each one. So having this one come out with a cheese as well could be saving grace for CMU, considering that last fight went so poorly.
Necrophos just goes for a Ghost Scepter here.
I guess it's okay if you alternate it with Ghost Shroud. It'll force, you know, like, you get Diffusal Bladed by Jug, and then you instantly pop the other one, and because there is that 4-second cooldown on Diffusal Blade now, it can keep you alive a little bit longer. But I would have really liked to see just some other item that's defensive, maybe a BKB, maybe just like a Shiva's, which he is queued up to buy next, the Shiva's.
So I went Ghost Scepter onto Necrophos once. It wasn't really worth it unless you go the full E-Blade for like some Dagon combo or something.
Maybe that's what he's looking to do. After the Shivas, go for that E-Blade, and then you E-Blade ult somebody. With your extra damage also from Ghost Shroud and Veil, you'll do well over 100% damage. So I think it could be okay, but it's just a questionable timing to pick it up. I'd have imagined picking it up earlier or just after the Shivas would have been a little bit better.
He really needed a BKB in the last fight. I'm just surprised he's not going for one. If he could BKB and get away from that static storm, he would be able to turn that fight around, but unfortunately he couldn't cast any of his spells because he got caught in the cloud.
Alright, smoke up here from the side of Wisconsin. They're running straight down mid. They drew an arrow right towards where Ursa is. It doesn't seem like they have any wards here, but they will find the players anyway. The full ultimate from Juggernaut comes up onto the Kunkka, but they don't have detection, so he just invises away. He will end up going down.
Pretty big static storm. We'll get BKB'd off.
The Necrophos ultimate went onto a Spirit Breaker who had full health and a Glimmer Cape, so he actually just tanked it and took no damage. And now this Viper clicking at insanely high speeds, just killing everybody. That was a buyback from Kunkka. And now it looks like this might just be the end of the game for CMU. They used a buyback on Kunkka there. Now he's sitting at 1 health, way in the other side of the map without a TP. They have 2 buybacks available, but they haven't used it. And now he gets charged up. Oh no! And look, he's gonna die. There's no way he survives this, even with the blink away. And now that's 3 dead. No buyback on 3. They do have the buybacks on 2. They don't really have any opportunity to push though. If you look at the creep waves, they are all in favor of CMU pushing into the side of Wisconsin. So it is a little bit of a saving grace for CMU, but They lose
They'll get
Roshan. They
rushed.
get Aegis and Cheese for Viper. And now with that fight going in the favor of Wisconsin, their net worth is far ahead, over 10k XP and 25k. Sorry, 25k XP and 10k net worth.
And what do you say? They just push here and then they just get wiped.
Yeah.
I think that's what I think that actually
Who
is
gets
what's
wiped?
gonna happen. Wisconsin.
You think
I-
Wisconsin will get wiped? I disagree.
predict them getting wiped pushing for some reason.
I respectfully disagree. I think Wisconsin is too far ahead to mess this up. They have their BKBs on their cores. They have level 25 on Viper and Jug.
Use it.
I believe that Wisconsin should win this game off of the next fight because they have the buyback advantage, they have the Aegis advantage, and they have the items advantage now. Like, if they don't manage to win it here, I don't see how they win this game. Because they are so far ahead, like, this is their best opportunity yet. So unless CMU pulls something out of the bag, you know, they do a surprise smoke gank and play super aggressive despite having no buyback on their, I believe, Kunkka? And then, let's see, buyback status.
Shadow Demon doesn't have a buyback.
It seems like quite a few players don't have it. Slardar also is a little bit too poor for it, and he'll get in 200 gold though, so he should be okay.
I think, first of all, CMU needs someone to hit the healing ward that own them.
Yep.
Second of all, they need to combo their abilities better, and they need to like start with the they need to be doing what they did before, but because the fight starts out so chaotic and the static storm comes down, the thing is the Necrophos gets silenced while the other two pop BKB, and so Necrophos runs away while Ursa and Slaughter fight, and that's why they've lost these 2 fights in a row, is pretty much because Necrophos always runs away when he gets caught in Static Storm, and Ursa and the Slaughter pop BKB try to fight, but even if their BKB is online, most of the damage is coming from the physical damage from the Jug and the Viper, so they just click down while they're BKB'd.
And now we look, they are sieging high ground on the side of Wisconsin, using Viper as a frontliner with the Aegis and Cheese and BKB. He did go for the talent that has poison attack affects buildings. He wasn't using the poison attack against the building right there, but once he does start using it, it will take the tower very quickly.
So fast.
Yeah, that's what happens when you have AC sitting right behind you and you went for a Mjolnir on this hero. Your attack speed is 386 right now, so he's quick. And with this next creep wave, assuming he uses poison attack on this tower, it should go down. I kind of hope that he does use it, but once again, he's not using it. Looks like there will be an X mark onto Kunkka. He does get a big hit, but it does not manage to kill the players. Viper does go into the high ground. The Necrophos ult will connect, but it will not quite kill him. And now with the Juggernaut ward there, it will completely offset all that damage in a few seconds. And the Shrine is being forced to use, or used up on the side of CMU. Once again, this Kunkka is the best wave clear that they have, just blinking in and cleaving them down. But if he doesn't get the crit, he can't kill the entire creep wave that easily. Use your poison attack.
Use Soul Catcher and then burst the Viper right now. You have Reaper.
He still has Aegis though. Yep.
Yeah,
well, there we'll go. One kill onto the Viper. Meanwhile, in the back line, Ursa and Slardar jump into the back. They kill the Disruptor, but at the same time, Kunkka also goes down. Juggernaut uses his Omni Slash, but Necrophos dodges it with the Ghost Shroud. Ursa will die in the back line, and Slardar here, he is in the middle of 4 heroes. He does not seem to be able to escape. He does manage to get to the Shrine to get a little bit of healing, but it looks like Necrophos and Slardar will go down. Both have buybacks, and Ursa use buybacks, so that's 3 buyback from the side of CMU, and they're looking to chase, get something in return here. But doesn't seem to be quite enough. At the end of the day, they only lost to the tier 3, but they lost 3 buybacks as well on the side of CMU. So that's an economic disadvantage and just the fact that they could push again against no buybacks and hopefully win the game. I'm just surprised this Viper went for the talent and he isn't using the talent. That talent is like deceptively good against buildings, having an extra 28 DPS. And the attack slow works against buildings, I'm pretty sure, so that, you know, kind of offsets the similar way that Bloodlust works on tower. That should just slow it down. Similar way to Liquid Fire, I should say. Yeah, Liquid Fire on Jakiro.
I'm surprised Kunkka died there. He got bashed by Jug.
Yeah, he got blown up real quick. And he used buyback in the fight before, so he couldn't just buy back and fight.
Like, that wasn't the worst start to their fight either. They used the ulti just to take out the Viper, which is okay. And then they just need to survive the counter initiation. But they got bashed.
Blank complaining about not going on a date. He has a date supposedly in 10 minutes from now, and this is only game 1, so he is pretty upset, I see. But they use a pause, they fix their Discord, and they are right back into it. They were hoping to end this game early, if you could tell by their draft that 10-20 minute GG was the goal. And now that it didn't come up, it
Shadow Demon has his
life.
Ags.
If you get the level 25 talent as well for the 400 demonic purge damage with your triple charge from demonic purge and all of them dealing just about double.
Level 25 Shadow Demon is actually insane.
It's one of the strongest heroes. He could solo kill anybody on the other team.
He went for 10% magic resist instead of negative 25-second respawn time? What?
Yeah, maybe he's just hoping not to die in the fight. If he dies, he figures they're gonna lose anyway.
I mean, he doesn't have buyback, and it's like a long death timer for him actually too.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, he'll have buyback again, but he's gonna buy out for sure.
With the state of the game as it is, it looks like CMU is going to be very scared, just kind of playing passively in their base, with Kunkka just pushing out waves with his X-Mark bots, it seems. But now, like, the item advantage has grown bigger and bigger in the favor of Wisconsin. They have the full Abyssal, they have the Blink on Jug. They have this Abaddon going, you know, still going carry. He has the AC and Mjolnir now, but he almost has a Scotty on top of that.
Oh, he has 120 gold per minute. I was like, his gold is ticking up so fast.
Yep. The longer it waits, you know, he will get big, but the problem is he's not very tanky. So if he goes for a fight here, blinking and crit, he doesn't get the crit. I don't think at this point he could even one-hit any of these cores anymore. Viper having 2,300 health and a lot of armor. Abaddon having a lot of armor and 2,400 health.
He hit the crit wave. The play is not to hit the Abaddon there. He didn't do any damage to him. He literally tickled him there.
Well, now it looks like Wisconsin is going to be pushing bottom. They have that mid-tier 3 dead, now they're looking for another tier 3. Once again, Viper poking away at the tower, but isn't using his Viper Strike. Juggernaut ult will come out, but it won't actually do that much damage, and now the backup from the side of CMU is there. Soul jumps in, uses his ultimate, and he's going to have to run away here. He will die, now he's dead for 103 seconds, no buyback. They are on the retreat from CMU. Viper is going in, tries to get a kill onto Slardar, but he is just barely living thanks to that shrine, and the last few hits will come out and kill him. That is now another hero dead, no buyback. Viper gets a triple kill no, double kill. I guess he didn't get that last one, but that's 4 dead, no buyback, and that'll most likely just be a GG call. They do kill Abaddon. He did use cheese there, yeah.
Yeah.
Very last second, he was about to die actually, but you know, he's beyond godlike. He definitely came back into this game very nicely, considering he was being stomped mid and against the godlike Necrophos. Tables have turned, and now it looks like the entire base is going to be the target for the side of Wisconsin here. Kunkka's trying to rap, but it's a tough ask to outrace this. Yeah, Wisconsin probably realized something was going on because they didn't GG call that. They figured maybe they're up to something on the side of CMU, and then they look back and Kunkka's taken their tier 4s. But it's not quite enough. The full set of megas go down, and now tier 4s will be the target. Kunkka's buying back. They're holding on to hope, but it's unlikely.
It's getting bashed. It's getting diffused.
And with that, that's going to be a 6-man wipe, I guess, because the buyback from Kunkka and base will go down. Game 1 is won for the side of Wisconsin after throws on both teams, just back and forth. A bloody match altogether. I had fun watching this game.
What? I don't even know how CMU got a Rax. That's...
Yeah, they hit their timing. They messed up once, but they were still strong at that point in the game, and they just outplayed that fight. However, it was not enough. They stayed a little bit too long, and they did die for it. Who do you want to give player of the game to that game? I'm tempted to give it to the Spirit Breaker, just because he got so many like 3 or 4-man charges in the middle of these fights. But at the same time, Viper being so far behind at the start of the game, he just played correctly. He was in the right spots. He got the right kills. And if you look, he's at the second top net worth in this match after being one of the lowest core net worths at the start of the game. So my vote goes for one of those two. How about you?
All right, Jug. Yeah, the same thing. Jug is solid, but as for UW, the Spirit Breaker definitely carried them in the early game when they were getting run over. But Viper carried it late. So how about we give it to both of them here?
Can't do that. I'm going to give it to Spirit Breaker because he's the one that stopped CMU's
Hey, if it wasn't
timing.
for Spirit Breaker, Viper would have had a chance to come back.
Okay. So MVP of the match, Band Gaming MVP, goes to Mandingo. Good job. And I guess we will see you shortly after a quick plug from our sponsor and Game 2 starting up soon.
Only $14.99.
Don't miss the call. Download Band. Communication made easy.
Ben, Sam, and Ken are on separate journeys to defeat the menacing Vile Dragon. But let's just say luck isn't on their side. If only there was a way for them to find each other and band together. Well, that's why there's Band. It's a mobile app that allows people to come together using common interests. With Band, you can find fellow gamers, chat, schedule gaming sessions, and conduct polls. Stage epic battles with friends while sharing videos and photos along the way. So try Band today. Band. Be together.